It would seem as though.
Hi. Hi, hello, hi.
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 Ooh. Oh, wait. I'm gonna special effects. You ready?
Yeah. Spooky. Scary.
Yeah. It's October.
It's
Halloween
Halloween
month.
And
Yes.
let me tell you what. September, the first day that I smell fall. I was like, it's fall. Just so you know, September 14th, whatever. I'm like, it's
Blah,
fall.
blah. It's fall now.
It's fucking fall.
It's fall. Oh my God. It's fall. Here's my thing, and I say this every year, and it's blah, whatever.
Yeah.
I have this weird thing where as soon as school starts,
Yeah.
here's how it feels for me.
Okay, I'm ready.
School starts.
Yeah.
The next day is Halloween.
Yeah.
The next day is Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
The next day is Christmas. The next day is New Year's. And then you're in the new year going, what the fuck actually happened?
Yeah.
How on earth did we get here?
True. You know, I get that, but I feel that way too, because it's all back to back. But that's why, starting in September, it's my favorite time of year. September to February. That's my favorite time of the year. And you know, it used to end in January, because my birthday ended in January. Is in January. So, September to January, but now I'm with Gavin. His birthday's in February, so I like it a little more. But yeah, this time of year, and even winter when it's snowy, I'm happy as a little clam. But here's the thing: that I'm excited because I don't have to like leave to go to like a real normal gig, a straight gig, you know. It's gonna be interesting, like how I'll feel about the holidays now. You know what I mean? Because I won't have to drive through the ice and the bullshit.
Well, you also won't have to be working to serve rich white people who are bored on Christmas and coming to get their coffee.
Honestly. And you know what? Working on Christmas was really stupid, but also I made more money working on Christmas than I did in like a normal fucking week. So it never really bothered me, but it will be interesting. I don't have to drive somewhere. First of all, I hate driving. If you need to know something about me, bitch, it's that I hate driving. And if I ever get rich, the first thing I'm getting is a
change
chauffeur.
Your name to Miss Daisy.
Bitch, I'm hiring a chauffeur. I'm adopting an 18-year-old or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just want someone to drive me.
I always say that if I have money, stupid money, it would have to be stupid money where you don't even have to think about it.
Sure.
Full-time housekeeper.
Yeah.
Full-time cook.
Yeah.
Driver.
Yeah.
All those things, because it's like, yes, I don't want to drive. I don't want to clean. I don't want to cook.
Girl,
me and Megan Thee Stallion don't want to cook. Don't want to clean.
But let me tell you how I got this ring. No, honestly, that's how I feel. But first and foremost for me would be a driver. Like, I'll supply the car, bitch. I'll pay everything else. Yeah. But I just need you to drive it. Because I fucking hate driving. And you know what? It's really gotten that way the older I get. I can do it. I own a car. I have driven lots in my life. But I hate it. Yeah. It is not the tea,
No,
bitch.
I get that.
And when I do it, I feel nothing. I'm like, oh, why do I hate this so much? Like, it's not a big deal. But like, I'm a paranoid person. I'm like, well, this is gonna happen. You know what I mean? Right. Like, it's gonna be the death of you, probably. Yeah.
So, welcome back to another episode of It Would Seem As Though. We just got right into it, started talking, didn't even do our introductions. I'm Vesta.
I'm Annika, sorry.
And you're back for another week of It Would Seem As Though, the podcast where we talk about anything, everything, and nothing.
Mostly nothing.
Mostly nothing. This week we're going to be talking about October, the spooky month, Halloween, scary movies, all the things.
Yeah.
But before we do that,
oh my god, okay.
I have a few little line items I want to talk about. Okay. I saw yesterday some good news.
Yeah.
Was that the trans ban in Texas was declared unconstitutional.
Praise
so they overturned
Jesus,
it.
Hallelujah. Yeah.
Well, it's like, of course it's unconstitutional.
Yeah, bitch.
But if they can overturn it in Texas, it gives me a little more faith that, in the rest of the country, the same thing could be happening.
Yeah.
So that's one thing.
Yeah.
Second piece of little queer news that I thought was really cool is Gavin Newsom, who is governor of California, chooses LaFonza Butler to fill Dianne Feinstein's Senate seat. So I've not heard of LaFonza Butler, but she runs a thing called Emily's List. Okay. And Emily's List is this organization that helps women get on the ballot, Democratic women specifically, to get on the ballot. So that they can, make change for the better. So this kills me. we're in the year 2023. LaFonza is the third black woman in history to serve in the Senate. What?
Girl.
In history, third black woman.
That's crazy. That's fucking crazy.
She'll be the third black woman to serve in the Senate and the first openly queer person in the
Girl,
California
times are
chamber.
Fucking changing, though. Do you know what I mean? I know. Here's the thing. I think, yes, the progress has been very slow.
Ooh,
much too slow for my liking, right? But that's why I love it when conservatives, like, act real out of pocket and they're talking out their ass and shit. Because it's so... Like, you will never stop progress. Yes, there will be regimes and governments and leaders and, you know, whatever, where freedom and, you know, progress is restricted, but you'll never stop it.
No.
There's no way ever. Do you know what I mean? Especially not now. You'd have to get rid of the internet completely. You know what I mean? People would have to lose a lot more freedom, but, like, you will never stop progress. You know, look at the year 1900 to now. The Civil War had... slaves have been free, or formerly enslaved Africans were now free, but less than 40 years. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's insane. So black people, I mean, we're still not very free. There was, you know, Jim Crow and all that, but the point is, like, you can never stop progress. Things have changed a lot. That's my whole point, right? Like, fight against it as much as you want, but, like, that's like trying to fight the river, which way the river flows, bitch. Like, good luck. You know what I mean? It may be a trickle, but sometimes it'll be a deluge, bitch. You know what I mean?
I do. And that's the only thing that gives me hope is that if you look at the big picture, that as slow and as plodding as it has been, it is still moving forward.
Yep.
You know? And it's like sometimes it just doesn't feel like it.
No.
Sometimes it's like we take a big giant step forward only to be kicked down seven steps,
right.
You know?
We only, like, take a giant step forward and then elect Donald Trump as president. Like that, you know what I mean?
Well, after 8 years of the first black president, I was like, oh my God, we've finally made some progress. We're finally on our way.
Yeah.
And then that followed that.
Nightmare. I can't. It was
4 years of a total asshole who just completely always talked out of his ass.
And just
devastated. And all of his followers who are a fucking cult.
Yeah.
Who believe every word he says, no matter how ridiculous.
It is weird. And here's the thing, is, like, I think that the right, the far right, the alt-right, the MAGA people, it is a cult. And I think that it's terrifying because they believe nothing else. And I think if they hear something and they're like, oh, someone said that's the truth, they're going to deny it. They're going to call it propaganda. They're going to call it fake news.
Unless it's what they want to hear.
Unless it's what they want to hear. And that's, like, the shittiest thing ever, is, like, that's why you can't argue full stop. Like, arguing with people is futile to begin with, but arguing now, people will just say it's not true. You can find anything online to fit your narrative.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Which is why I, of course, worry about my children, specifically Grace, being online, because she'll be like, oh, I read this thing, so that's true. No, that's not true.
She's so funny.
Well, and I don't remember if I told you, but the other day, Parker comes to me and he goes, did you know that Justin Bieber was raised by Post Malone? And I was like,
oh my God, you did tell me this.
No, he was not.
No, he wasn't.
He was raised by his mommy, who pushed him into stardom, and then mommy managed him until he was grown up.
Usher discovered him. Like, that's his celebrity connection.
Yeah, Post Malone just toured with him and they're friends.
Yeah, but it
was like that. He saw that somewhere online.
And it's true.
And so therefore it's true. Grace, this morning she goes, I'm going to ask Santa Claus for the most powerful flashlight in the world. And I go, why?
Okay, yeah.
Well, I saw it online.
Cracker.
So it's called that, but it's probably not that. But why? What on earth are you going to do with the most powerful flashlight in the world?
I know.
You just saw it on some TikTok thing or whatever. And so they're like, oh, gotta have it. It's like, no, you don't.
No. You know what? I think... How did I navigate that as a kid? Well, I mean, also I wasn't online all the time. You know what I mean? It wasn't a regular
Well, because it wasn't like it is now.
No. But I also remember, you know, grandma or an adult would I would ask for the Enquirer or some trashy rag of a magazine. And I loved it because it was trashy. But we learned, that's how I learned that there's shit that's printed. Just because something is printed doesn't mean it's true. But I always thought they were great. You know, it was funny, silly, stupid.
Well, it's salacious, so it gets your attention.
Oh, yeah, and it's crazy.
It's like, alien baby born to Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, Bat Boy discovered in cave, and I'm all, the fuck? Like, and I love that because of how much
Isn't that one in the world news though?
Maybe, I don't remember.
The weekly world news.
Yeah, trash. But as a kid who loved mythology and monsters and all of that, like, reading that, I was all, if this was the world, like, Bat Boy, who the fuck is that? I love that.
Right.
You know, an alien was born? That's weird. Like, weird. I live in a town of 900 people, you know? This was, like, big city to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I just saw a thing yesterday on, gosh, I think it was YouTube Shorts or whatever, but it was this thing talking about how a politician from Mexico had just said that they actually uncovered, or they had in their possession, an alien corpse.
Right.
Right. Did you hear about this? Mm-hmm. But they're like, but look at it. It clearly is an alien, and they did the DNA test, and it's not human, and blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
And so when it was like, but you've said this in the past, and it was just the corpse of a baby. With a, who was like disfigured.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but that was
horrible.
different.
Yes, if you can bring me something tangible, I'm way more likely to be like tubular, you know? But there's a lot of, and I hate it because I'm not gullible, but I want to be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When that documentary came out a few years ago about mermaids, I wanted to believe that this was true because it talked about how they were, what they would actually look like and how it would, how they would actually function if they were real. And lots of people took it as true. Like it was a real fucking thing. And it obviously wasn't.
Right, of course not.
But and it scared the shit out of me because of the ocean. But I love mermaids. But I wanted to believe it was true. I just knew that it wasn't, right?
But of course mermaids would, if they were real, if they did exist, would be nothing like we want them to be.
No, but exactly. That's what they're saying. Is like, this is what they live in the dark, right? They wouldn't look like beautiful women. They would look like monstrous fish people. Like, let's get it real. Yeah. Not to be speciesist, but you look like a monster. Like,
Right.
Very that.
Right. No thanks.
No.
So what are you said you have a couple things you want to share.
That's not it. So there are two things that I thought I read this week that I was like, oh my god, this is so... it resonates with me. And this one is a little poem by Francesca Cox, and it's called Grief.
Okay.
And it says, I've decided that the only way to live is to embrace grief, for grief only exists where love lived first. And I was all...
Oh, I love that.
Bitch, what? Yeah, so good, right?
No, just say it one more time, because that was really good. I like that.
I've decided that the only way to live is to embrace grief. For grief only exists where love lived first.
I love that. That is big. That's deep. I love that. And it's like, but if you think about that, of course, because you're not going to grieve someone you don't care about.
No. But I feel this way. Maybe you feel the same way because we've both seen a lot of tragedy. We've both witnessed a lot of horrific things. And a lot of people have died that we knew. That at some point, grief in your life just becomes normalcy.
Yeah.
Grief becomes like a daily function. And so I remember... as a young kid in high school, when all my friends were dying, remember? And it was like an 8-month span or 6-month span. And it was like 8 people died. And I remember being like shook, right? But at some point, desensitized maybe, but especially people like us who feel everything so deeply, like grief for that prolonged amount of time just is normal. You know what I mean? And so...
Right. Because at first it's crippling.
Oh, crippling. But trying to deny it, trying to get away from it isn't going to help. So if you just embrace it, because, like, why are you grieving? You grieve because you cared about these people, right? So, like, embracing the fact that you were able to make connections and you loved people and people loved you.
Right.
I think changing how you see it. Looking at it through a different lens. But sometimes when you're in the eye of that hurricane of grief, though, you just want to die. Yeah. Yeah, heartbreak. It's so sad. Oh, okay, and there's a second one. And I don't remember why I saved this, but I saw it somewhere. But it's a quote from Alexander Leon. He's an author. Look him up. I don't know anything about him. But the quote is, queer people don't grow up as ourselves. We grow up playing a version of ourselves that sacrifices authenticity to minimize humiliation and prejudice. The massive task of our adult lives is to unpick which parts of ourselves are truly us and which parts we've created to protect us. Bitch, I died.
I have actually heard that before.
Beautiful. And stunning.
Well, and so true.
Yeah.
Because it is so much of a,
yes.
you put on armor.
Yeah.
And you go, okay, this part of me seems to be what gets the most trouble. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to suppress that.
Yeah.
Try to hide it, which makes it come out somewhere else in some other way.
Yeah.
But it's like, but this seems to be okay. This is acceptable. So I'll do this. Yeah. And so, yeah, you do have to spend a lot of time unlearning.
Yeah.
The things that you did to be, the facade that you put on just to survive.
Well, and that's the thing, too, I think about people who know they've been queer their whole life. Not the people who come out later. The people who were queer, identifiably queer as a young person. I think for a lot of things, you have to know who you are, right? You not only have to know who you are, but you have to just know yourself. And I think that's kind of a foreign subject, right? Like when people ask you what you want to be when you grow up, I don't mean it in that way. But like trans people, queer people, we know ourselves on such like an intrinsic, like you have to know what you want to be a part of, a group of people that are ostracized or hated or murdered or abused. Like, you have to know that about you. It's something deep. And I don't think a lot of cisgendered heterosexual people ever have that kind of realization. And a lot of us had
because
it,
they don't have to.
Right. And a lot of us had it as children, And so, but always being the way that I am, you know what I mean? That I don't know how to be different. I didn't know how to change myself so people would like me. You know what I mean? And I feel like it was hard. I just was then quiet. I just was quiet and didn't really want to stand out for a lot of my childhood. But I didn't know how to act. And I mean, social cues, yes, I learned that. But I think more so, I felt incapable of not being, you know what I mean, who I was. Yeah. And, like, I remember getting teased for the way I walked and the way I talked and the way I dressed and, like, all of it. Mm-hmm. Because I wasn't what I should have been. And so, and I didn't know how to be other than that. And I think that's kind of a great thing, right? I knew that about myself. So there's always been, since young Annika, there's always been that, like, authentic little self because I had to know. Because so many people, forever, were like, that's wrong. What you're doing is wrong. And we're going to make these things happen to change you.
Right.
And it didn't fucking work. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't change me, bitch. You made me jaded. And you, like...
And quiet.
And you pulled a dark cloud over my head. But, like, other than that, I couldn't stop, My bio mom, Becky, she likes to say that it's like my sparkle. And so when I'm like down or I've been in bad relationships, she's like, you're just not yourself, you've lost your sparkle. And I'm like, that's a really good way. For me, it's a good way to think about it because I feel that's how it feels. You know what I mean? You feel dimmed, you feel dull. Yeah. Anyway, this isn't our topic. But
no, it isn't, but I find that part of it very interesting because obviously I've known your whole life.
Yeah.
But for me, it was always good when, because when you would come stay with me, you could be 100% yourself. You could be the little Annika that Annika wanted to be, and play with Barbies and do whatever and dress up or whatever it was.
Totally, yeah.
And nobody cared.
Nobody cared. No. And I remember like you and Cameron Poole, aka Chloe Stone, painting my face when I was a kid, 5, 4, 5, 6, whatever, little kid wearing wigs. Girl, I loved it. Ate it up, I could wear what I wanted. And even as a teenager, before, I decided to leave high school and come here. As a teenager coming here, I knew that I could do things that I couldn't do at home.
Right.
Remember we were in Astoria one time and I decided to wear your like giant platform orange flip-flops,
yes.
Remember? And you're like, are you sure? And I'm like, bitch, yes. So then I was like 6'5", but it was fine. But I remember just like little things like that to me, and it was like my true self. But it was always devastating to go back. You know what I mean?
I know, because there was always the fun that you had, but then when it was time to return, then that little cloud, it's like you pulled it right back up over your head to head home. It was like the first time we went to Disneyland together.
Oh my god!
You, for a whole week in Disneyland, were like, oh, this is me. I get to be whoever I want.
Yeah.
Because I'm in California, and nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit, because they're like all doing their thing. They don't know who you are, and they don't care.
Yeah.
So, you were just having fun and being Annika.
Yeah.
And then the night before it was time to leave, it was like, well, here comes that dark cloud again. Yeah. And I have to crawl back up in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to not only leave Southern California, I had to leave Southern California, go back to Oregon, and then go to the fucking country.
Yeah.
That is like, I remember being devastated. Like,
because you got a little taste of what it was like to be out in the world.
To be a person.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so insane. I remember entering Disneyland at 15 years old and crying. Just because I was like, what?
Because
like,
it really is magical.
Oh, yeah. And like, I had never been on vacation. We talked about this. So I had never been on vacation until I was 15. It was nuts. I was shocked. But leaving it killed me. And that's why I always felt like, yeah, you'll be back here. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way you've seen what real life is outside of the country. And I think that was really, because literally 2 years later, a year and a half later, I left high school. I left high school and moved away.
Yeah.
So I think it was really awakening for me. I was like, holy fucking shit.
Of course.
What is happening? You know? It all seems so far-fetched. That's like, you know, when you plan things or you think things are going to happen or like, oh, someday I'll go to California or you see it in movies or whatever. It just seems like it's, oh yeah, I could go tomorrow, but also it's so far away. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway,
we have, so today we decided it would be fun.
Yeah.
To talk about some things, October things like Halloween and our now, if you know me at all, you know I'm not a scary movie person.
You love scary movies.
Used to when I was a kid. I liked scary movies. I watched them a lot.
I remember.
But post-children, I just can't.
Yeah.
Because too many, I mean, if they're like some crazy thing that could never happen in a million years, I'm fine with that. Sure. I can watch it. Mm-hmm. I don't like to because anymore watching things that stress me out, no thanks.
Yeah, right?
But after having children, it's like, oh, this serial killer who comes into people's houses, nope. Mm-mm. No, I have babies. I can't. I can't even entertain that idea.
Mm-hmm. No, I got that.
The other day, T was watching some made-for-TV, suspenseful kind of whatever.
Yeah.
Alyssa Milano Lifetime scary movie.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
It was not scary.
The house down
but
there.
It was like, but the guy that's killing her just literally somehow was walking right into their houses. And I'm all, no,
honey.
no.
What are you talking about?
But we decided we should talk about like some scary movies and stuff. I did want to ask you.
Yes, tell
me. Growing up,
do
you have a favorite Halloween memory, like a favorite Halloween costume?
Okay,
a favorite, but as a kid.
Okay, so looking back on my childhood often is not a great time, but there are moments that I'm like, oh yeah, it's just nostalgic as fuck. You know what I mean? And it gives me that feeling of like happiness, kind of like butterflies, but obviously not. But just a little something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a little twinge.
Yeah. And so that's why, again, when the weather changed, I was all, oh God, oh my baby. You know what I mean? Like I was having contractions. It was crazy.
Sure.
Right, you get it for fall. But, in retrospect, it just seems more magical than it probably was. But like trick-or-treating around a small town and in the 90s and everyone had decorations out and people dressed up and it was like we were going to Halloween parties and this was probably all under the age of 10, I would say.
Okay.
Or like your brother Blake would throw a party, like a Halloween party, and we'd all go, especially when the kids were younger. So yeah, that dressing up and nothing was like authentic. Nothing looked great. You know what I mean? You put on shitty makeup. You know what I mean? That oil-based whatever it is you get from Walmart or whatever it was. And you make yourself look like whatever. And I always wanted to be like a magic-wielding person. So I was always like an undead witch or something like that for like 4 years in a row.
Sure.
I said, this works. But usually that. I was always that. I've been Morticia Addams. In my adult life, I've really... grasp it. But I've been a lot of different things in my adult life. Not a lot. But Morticia Addams was my favorite. That was spaghetti.
What's funny to me is one of my favorite costumes as an adult was when I was Wednesday Addams.
We always should do it just role reversal.
Right. Right. I love that.
But it's sorry. But it's like that watch the movie Hocus Pocus, watch the movie Halloween, watch any of them where you see people trick-or-treating house to house and everyone's dressed up. That's how I imagine it in my childhood. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's what it feels like in like my chest. It feels like warm. But there's not like a specific moment, I would say. Mm-mm.
So for me, because we grew up in the same town, part of it really was that walking all through town and, going up and down all that, because the town's tiny.
Tiny.
And there's one street, and you probably know where it is, you go down the street, and at the end of the street was like a trailer court.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And it was a nice trailer court.
Sure.
But it was like we would hit anybody who had their lights on.
Yep.
But we also trick-or-treated with pillowcases.
Yep, same.
Because, bags rip.
Yeah, girl.
Pillowcases you can carry a lot
and they're
of candy.
huge. Yeah, girl. Yeah. They're durable. They're huge. Mm-hmm.
And we would go in a group and we would do whatever and have so much fun and wouldn't come. I mean, we'd be out for hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same. Well, yeah.
And I remember never ever being, because my mother would always be like, you need to put on a coat. I'm not putting on a coat over my costume.
No, bitch, look at me. I know.
You will ruin my costume.
But let me tell you, there were times on Halloween when it was raining. And feeling like this is miserable. But still doing it. It's Halloween, bitch. I didn't care. Kids don't care about that shit. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Kids are like, I want to... It's rain. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I live in Oregon. I don't give a fuck. There's candy out there. But pillowcases, it's funny what transitions to, like, my generation.
Yeah.
Because pillowcases, for sure, walking all around town, and it would be hours. Hours trick-or-treating. It wouldn't be like lots of parents do now, and it's like 30 minutes. You know what I mean? 45 minutes, they go to the school, and everyone has, like, their trunks popped and has candy.
Trunk or treat.
Trunk or treat, right? It's not that. I don't remember anything like that. You
know,
know, the school
it didn't exist.
The school would do like a fall thing. There would be like a little thing, but like, I remember going to pumpkin patches. Girl,
yeah, that wasn't a thing when I was a kid.
That's weird. But going to things like that, just like doing fall time Halloween-y things, carving pumpkins. But my bio father, BJ. He used to get real into the holidays, and he one time built like a whole haunted maze in the garage, and this was like when he and my mom were still together, and so I was like 3 or 4. But like everyone came over. He felt like it was just he thought it out, and it was like spooky, and there were lights everywhere, and he really decorated. I mean, and so like there's things like that are nostalgic. It just makes I think of Roseanne. Think of the show Roseanne. All of her Halloween specials, I think that was it. That feeling, what I'm watching right now, that's
absolutely.
what I remember. That's not probably right. But
well, what's funny to me is when you were saying how it rains on Halloween.
Yeah.
In my memory, it never rained on Halloween because it was always cool and crisp and fun. And of course it did.
All the time.
But I remember the ones where it didn't.
Yeah. Oh,
and so for me, that's every Halloween. Every Halloween was lovely. Yeah. And it looked like the set of Halloween Town.
Yeah.
And,
right? Exactly.
Debbie Reynolds was out.
Girl, seriously. But it is funny. The 90s, I feel like people decorate now. But I feel like there's like, even Christmas, traditional little things that everyone had in like the 90s that looked, you look at it now and you're all, that's dated, you know? And I love that shit. It makes me feel warm and fuzzy.
Yeah, you want to talk dated, though. Talk the costumes that were costumes when I was a kid. And people my generation still will talk about those awful drugstore costumes where it was a little hard plastic mask that you even touched them wrong and they broke.
Okay, yeah.
And you couldn't breathe wearing them.
Yeah.
And they were awful. And then they came with, like, this plastic costume that you could wear one time because it was going to rip and fall apart. But it was like a poncho, basically, that was painted to look like
yeah.
They were crap.
Awful.
But we would, as poor kids who never had them, we always wanted those.
Right.
Because we're like, oh, I want that drugstore. But so we would always be things that are now very much culturally insensitive or inappropriate.
Yeah.
Like I remember, it's like, what were you from? Oh, I was a gypsy, or I was a hobo, or I was a... And it's like things that you're like, nar, not now.
Yeah.
Not,
no.
But...
Crazy.
But, it was good times.
Yeah. I have had to, mostly in my adult life, had to pull it together. Like, I used to have Halloween parties when I lived in LA, and that's when I was Morticia, and that was good times. But I've been invited to do Halloween things, and I'm like, I don't really want to. Because here's the thing. If you want to know anything about me, I'm a homebody, bitch. I don't like to go out anymore.
Right.
I hate the world. But people are like, come. And I'm like, okay, last minute. I have been silly things. I've been like a redneck zombie. I was a lumberjack zombie, and I've been a redneck. So different things, right? But I was like, this isn't my wheelhouse, bitch. I own Daisy Dukes and a flannel. Look at that. Oh my god. So
yeah, I was sexy dead nurse.
Love, right? I like sexy dead nurse. I'm like sexy dead fucking lumberjack.
Right, with my throat slit and blood. Right. Oh, that was so funny. But the funniest part about all that to me, and so T was wearing like this long black robe with a scary fucking mask. You couldn't even see his face, but it was a good mask. It was terrifying. And because we were invited to a Halloween party, and I was like, are there going to be children at this party? Nope, there will be no children. Okay, cool. So I'm, slutty dead nurse, and he's terrifying monster, and we get there, and there's children everywhere. And I'm like, oh boy. Because this outfit, I was black vinyl.
Yeah.
And short.
Yeah.
And blood, and he was terrifying looking. That, and oh my god. So Parker was little. I think he was like 1.
Yeah.
My friend Shannon invited us to her house for a Halloween party. She's like, and everyone's wearing costumes, adults and children. Everyone get your costume, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay. So I decided I was going to go as a dead housewife.
Love.
And so I put on a wig that I filled with rollers, and then I painted myself to look dead and gross and whatever. And then I wore this like total caftan. I wanted to look like dead Mrs. Roper from Three's Company. I was the only adult in a costume. I was pissed.
Yeah, it's irritating.
I was like, really?
That's irritating.
Yeah.
But you know what? When I had my Halloween parties, I'd be like, if you show up to my house without a costume, you're not coming in. Like, it's simple as that, bitch.
That works for me.
Yeah, but I mean, everyone came. I wish I still had so many pictures of that. People came to fucking play. It was so cute. It was so much fun.
I remember the year that you sent us, when you were living in California, you sent us a Christmas picture, and it was the most terrifying Santa Claus I've ever seen. Wasn't that, or was that here?
Nope, it was in LA. Oh my god.
It was you and Bassie and several other people with Santa Claus.
Different. You're thinking so I have many pictures of
Wait,
Santa.
but that was here though. That was in Pioneer Square?
No.
The zombie Santa?
No.
No?
No. Zombie Santa was in the OC. It was in like Orange County. Okay. And the picture with Bassie and John Van Jamos and our friend Dylan was in San Francisco.
Okay.
That was in 2008. So you're mixing those pictures together.
Yeah.
The picture I have with Creepy Santa is me and Heather Rachel.
Oh, okay.
And Jesse and our friend Jessica. Yeah. Yeah, he's a gross Santa, and it was a haunted house for Halloween. Nope, for Christmas, and so everything was very Christmas themed. It was fun. It was cute. And my girls, Heather and Ian, their names are Rachel and Ian, but we all call each other Heather from the Heathers. Anyway, we went to it, and at the end there's a Santa who's fucking disgusting. He's just gross. He looks like he's dead. But you could take pictures with him. And I got one by myself, and he made me sit on his lap, and I did. And then he has a giant phallus in his pants that's, like, up his leg.
Oh, God.
And he, like, made me grab it. He made me grab it.
Oh, no.
And then I'm, like, giggling. Yeah. It was, like, a really good picture. Yeah. It's, like, my husband. But, yeah, I like to silly, spooky, fun things.
I think... it was in San Francisco that I went to a haunted house that was put on by Rob Zombie.
Oh my god, did you die?
Well, what was funny is this was a family kind of thing. No. But in the queue up area where it's like you waited for your little group to go through, it was a floor show where it was all these women dancing. And it was a fucking S&M show.
Ooh.
And I'm all, love it.
Yeah.
Not for children.
But
there were children there, right? Okay. But they said it was a family-friendly thing. It was not. It was a good haunted house, though.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. I thinking about it, I've been to Not Scary Farm.
Same. Saw Elvira.
Same. Okay, obviously that's what she does every year. But I remember it's October in where is it? Southern California. I don't remember where in Southern California.
It's like Buena Park.
Anaheim. Right. And everyone's bundled because it's so chilly, and I'm literally wearing like a beanie and Daisy Dukes and like boots, and I'm like, what?
Yeah. How are you people cold?
Yeah,
it's 70-something degrees at night.
Well, and not to like toot my own horn or anything, but every time there's a stage in my life where I was like, everyone just really wanted me. It was really hard for me.
I'm sure.
When I do like haunted houses or things, if someone got too close to me, there would be sometimes I've had guys say to me like, "Oh, you're hot," and I'm like, You're not scaring me right now. Oh, man. It's kind of
so the people in the haunted house who are supposed to be scaring you.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're hot.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's
I'm
not
so scared.
But, like, not Scary Farm. The people who, like, slide at you and, like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They run. It's like,
yeah.
One was like, oh. I'm, like, taken aback by me. And I said, do your job. You know what I mean? You're embarrassing yourself. Yeah. And I was just like, stupid. This is not the time or place. You know what I mean? You're doing a job.
Could you hit on me later?
Yeah. Can I talk to management? No, I'll wait. I'll wait. Yeah.
Yeah. I need you to go get a different job.
Honestly.
Where if you're going to hit on all the girls, do it in your own
but
time.
I used to go to Jansen Beach. And they had Scream at the Beach.
Yep.
And it would be like 3 or 4 haunted houses. Silly, stupid, awful. Loved it. I went every year. It was so dumb. But, like, same. Like, same thing where it would just be, like, some dude in his mask would be all, oh, you're hot. I'd be like, what the fuck is happening? Like, I'm not scared right now. Are you the same guy? Are you just, like, following me? And going to every haunted house that I go to?
One of the best haunted houses I ever went to was here in town. It was at a private middle school.
Was it the deaf school?
No.
Okay, that was also the
so. Was it? I don't think so.
Okay.
But it was so funny because this was a private, I'm pretty sure Catholic.
Yeah.
School, and the haunted house was terrifying.
Because it was you and me, Foster Boys and Mr. T.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Girl, that was so scary.
It was good.
But we went to the deaf school. Because we went to the deaf school of Vancouver, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
I
forgot about that. That was a different one. Because this one was over in, over close to his old work, like off Sandy.
Oh, okay. I do remember this, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, crazy.
But I forgot we went to the one at the deaf school.
Yeah. It was really scary.
It was good.
And do you want to know why I think it was scary? It's because deaf people can't hear, right? And so they don't know how loud they're going to be when they're close to you. And there would be people hidden and scream right at you. And let me tell you, bitch, I almost died. I almost shit twice and died because...
Yeah. Thank you, Molly Ringwald.
Thank you. Thank you. But yeah, Halloween, girl, it's my favorite.
Yeah. So, we're going to talk about our favorite scary movies.
Yeah.
So, do you remember...
Is it just scary movies or specifically Halloween?
No, both. Like, you know, whatever.
I'm gonna stick with Halloween.
Because I don't love scary movies.
Yeah.
But I'm... movies that I actually love and movies that I watched that were absolutely terrifying.
Okay.
That were well done, I think.
Yeah.
But... my very first scary movie, which we talked about a million times, is The Birds.
Yeah, girl.
Because I watched it as a kid, I'm still scared of birds.
Yep, I get
that
you.
was, to me, and I think, other than a little bit of the animation, I think it still holds up.
Yeah, agreed. That movie's so scary, by the way.
It really is. I mean, the idea, again, this could happen. You know, the birds could all go crazy because of the shit we're doing to them in the world and the chemicals and the things.
Yes.
What's keeping them from killing us, and why haven't they? Who would blame them?
Girl, I want to kill us. You know what I mean?
Right.
And, like, I mean, I feel like if the animals could just communicate, not kill each other for 1 minute, humans would be fucked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We would all die.
Yeah.
Which is, like, fine.
If they just said, you know what, listen.
Yeah.
I get it, you know, we're going to all go back to killing each other later and eating each other, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and it's going to be fun.
But these fuckers, they need to go.
They got to go. The human plague has been here long enough. Yeah, I love this time of year. I love scary movies, love Halloween movies, and this list is pissing me off.
All right, well, while you're finding your list, I'm going to just kind of, a couple of the things. Alien.
Oh, so good.
Alien and Aliens, 1 and 2. Because terrifying.
Right. Yes.
Sigourney Weaver. Brilliant. And terrifying. That was one of those things so often in a monster movie. Yeah. By the time they reveal the monster, you're like, really, that's
boring.
The monster?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
And then it's terrible or it's cheesy or whatever.
Yep.
That monster was fucking terrifying.
Yep.
Because once they actually showed that goo dripping out of its mouth alien, I was like, just kill me.
No. Right?
And the thing that burst out of the guy's chest, the whole thing. Very well made movies that also hold up. Yeah. That you could watch them now and still find them terrifying. I
was just talking about that because, you know, I grew up with the not newest, Alien Resurrection.
Yeah.
And with Winona Ryder.
Yeah.
And I said Winona Judd, not her. You know, and Sigourney. And it was so metal and so dark and gothic and so, like, you know, cybernetic. Yeah. I was so fucking into it. And then I saw the originals and because I was a kid and I saw this brand new spanking movie that just came out and it's so cool. And then I watched the originals. I was like, this one's better, you know? And I know now through adult eyes, but I hated, what's the third one? The one where she's on the prison ship or whatever? Yeah. Boring.
It's not good.
No, it's not good. But I'll take
1 and 2, phenomenal.
Yeah.
3, meh. And then 4, it also gave you the feels, though. Because there was a lot of... I mean, it was still...
In 4?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was still some moments of terror and whatever, but it also made you feel stuff.
Yeah.
Which horror movies don't usually.
No, and because, you know, I loved monsters quite a bit, I was, like, sad. You know what I mean? For that mama alien.
Yeah.
Ugh, devastating, I know. I actually watched a scary movie the other day, and it's called Run, Rabbit, Run.
I've heard of it.
Oh, you should watch it. It's not super scary. I think you could watch it. It's kind of like that movie, whatever we watch at the beach, that's kind of eerie. Remember?
Oh,
Something, Darling?
Yeah, Don't Worry, Darling.
Yeah, Run, Rabbit, Run is very spook. It's like a little unsettling at times, but it's not really, really scary. No one gets hurt. Someone does in the past, but it's fine. You don't really see it. But you should watch it anyway. But it was. I was shook. But there's a lot of horror out. There's so much horror out that I was like,
there really is.
Yeah, I didn't realize.
Well, because like we're on Hulu because they do Huluween.
Yeah,
and so they recommend all these scary movies, and I was like, one, I've never heard of most of these movies, but that's a lot of movies.
Yeah,
there's a lot of scary movies. So one of my favorite scary ghost kind of Poltergeist.
Oh yeah,
original.
Yep.
You know,
scary.
Original recipe Poltergeist.
Yeah. Scary.
Loved it with the little girl. God rest her little soul.
Yeah, her little baby soul.
Little Heather O'Rourke. What's terrible is the first movie. Dominique Dunn played the older sister.
Okay.
And she was murdered right after the movie came out.
Holy shit.
Yeah, her boyfriend, who was psycho, murdered her.
Evidently, he was crazy.
Evidently.
Okay, but there's movies that aren't necessarily horror movies that are Halloween movies. Hocus Pocus. Adore it.
Yeah.
Halloween Town. Have you watched any of them?
What's funny is, so my sister Linda.
Yeah.
Hi, Linda.
Hi, Linda.
She watched Halloween Town every year. I think with her kids.
Yeah.
And now she watches them.
They're roughly my age, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Now she watches them with her grandbabies, but I had never seen them.
They're so good.
And so a couple years ago, I was like, oh, they're all on, on some streaming service. So I watched the first one and the second one. I was like,
Disney.
They're adorable.
Yep, they are really good.
And Debbie Reynolds.
I
love Debbie Reynolds.
Agreed. Did you ever see Casper?
Yes.
I want you to know that I adore that movie.
Little Christina Ricci.
I think it's so good. Okay, I've talked about this before on the podcast, and I will preach the house down boots about this franchise, but Scream.
Right.
Scream, that...
So, you know that I've seen the first 3. The original 3, that when they came out, I went to see all 3 of them in the theater.
Yes, Queen.
Screamed, cried, was
so
terrified.
Good. So good, yeah.
And I did love the comedy of them.
Yeah.
Where they're kind of making fun of stupid...
It's kind of campy, yeah.
Yeah, but they were also terrifying.
Yeah.
You know, this thing, no, it's like, first of all, I don't like masks.
No,
I don't like anything that covers your face so I can't see who you are.
You only like femmes.
So, when I worked at the bar on Halloween, which I was fucking hated. By the way, if you go out to a queer bar on Halloween and you're not normally there, don't act like you're the shit.
No, okay? I want you to know,
because we refer to it as amateur night.
Yeah, bitch.
When the folks who dress up for one night come out and think they're all... Just
don't.
Just respect your
space. Lay down.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But when people would come up to me wearing a mask, I'd be like, nope. Yeah. Can't do it. If you want to talk to me, you have to take your mask off.
Yeah.
Because you're freaking me out. Yeah. I don't like it. Unless I knew who you were. Unless you're like, oh, it's me, so-and-so. Then I'd be like, okay.
Different.
That's fine, because I now know who you are.
Yeah.
But if I can't see... or if you're just walking around in a mask and not talking... No. Are you going to murder me?
No, No. I've seen scary movies. Okay, but anyway, Scream. I guess the whole series, whatever, ends 2 years. 2025.
So that'll be what? 7? 8?
7. And I want you to know they're so good. Like, I love it so much because it's been kind of the same thing the entire time. But there have been characters who've been in every single one. Courtney Cox has been in every single one. Love that bitch. Gale Weathers. I watch them about annually because I love them. Same thing, though. I also like the Halloween movies.
Okay.
Not all of them.
So I do want to mention
Yeah.
that prior to the first Halloween movie,
Yeah.
slasher films were not a thing.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first.
Right.
And that came out when I was 15.
Okay.
And so I saw it when it was brand new at the theater. Fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
But it was a whole new genre, you know, where it's like that whole idea of like everyone, but like basically one person gets killed.
Yep.
And
the final girl.
The final girl.
Yeah.
And Jamie Lee Curtis did several because she became known as the Scream Queen.
Yeah.
And she did several, like she did Prom Night and that and
Yeah.
several other things.
Yeah, yeah.
But the first Halloween, very simple.
Yeah.
Very terrifying.
Yes. And I didn't realize that she was just the original Scream Queen. I
Yeah.
didn't realize that. I thought there was probably others before her.
Nope.
But no, it was her. And what's even better is that her mom was Janet Leigh.
Yeah, in Psycho.
Who was whatever her name is in Psycho, who gets stabbed in the shower.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that fantastic? It's just like...
Well, and that's another thing is that Psycho really changed how you watch scary movies because the whole thing was, this is a movie starring Janet Leigh. Well, a half an hour in, she's murdered.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, what?
Wait a minute.
The star of the movie was just murdered.
So does it end now?
Now what?
Was it a short film?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so that was different. So I did love that she became, you know, this famous for doing horror films. And now has, of course, done so much other stuff. And she's amazing and lovely.
She has gone and done, like, Scream Queens, which was a show.
Yes.
Which is fucking fantastic. And she kills me. And it's just so cute because they're playing out, like, every serial killer slasher trope in the show. And she gets to be there. And it's just so cute. Like, homage to her because, like, she deserves all of it. I fucking love her.
Right.
Do you know also she has a trans daughter?
I did.
Yeah. Snaps for her.
She and her husband, Christopher Guest, who makes a lot of my favorite
Oh my
movies.
god. When I found out they were
Best
married,
show.
I almost died. I was like, what a couple. Are you kidding me?
Right?
Ugh.
So, two movies that I want to talk about because love
Tell me.
is specifically Bram Stoker's Dracula
and
Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Now, the reason they're called that is because there's a million Frankensteins, there's a million Draculas. But these two were made around the same time in the 90s.
Okay.
Bram Stoker's Dracula is the one with Keanu Reeves. And, oh god, Gary Oldman played Dracula?
Yes.
Creepy, great, fantastic. I believe Winona Ryder was also in that.
Yeah.
You know, but it follows the book very closely.
And the costume designer.
And the costume is amazing. Everything is, it's a beautiful movie.
Yeah.
But it follows the book so closely that I love that. Because, like, the original Dracula with Bela Lugosi, which I watched as a kid a million times. Still love it. But, other than he's a vampire, that's kind of where it ends.
Yeah, that's
with the similarities. And Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Yeah.
In the book, in Mary Shelley's book, Frankenstein, he's not some big lumbering idiot who's like, oh, fire. Yeah. No. He's very smart and he reads Shakespeare and he's whatever. Well, so that movie, I want to say it's De Niro who plays Frankenstein.
I don't.
And I'm for some reason blanking on his name, but it's such a good movie and it follows the book. And the book, by the way, it's not a big book. It's kind of it's an easy read.
Yeah.
But it's a brilliant book.
It is Robert De Niro. Oh, and Helena Bonham Carter.
And who plays the doctor?
Victor? Kenneth
Branagh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love him.
Yeah, you know what? I never watched this because I think Grandma owned it when I was a kid, but I don't think I ever watched it.
I highly recommend it.
Okay, I'll watch that.
Yeah.
Okay, it sounds like really cool.
Well, I'm sorry, but one of the movies I was going to also say that, I know would be on both of our lists.
Yeah.
Is The Craft.
I was just going to say that. Yeah, I love The Craft. The Craft is so good. And it's so good. It's so good. Watching that as a kid because it came out in 1996.
Okay.
I was 7. Girl, let me tell you. So talk about always being a witch, bitch. I saw that when I was 7 years old.
Right.
Oh, yeah, no wonder I am who I am today.
Well, a little Fairuza Balk, but then was not so little. She was a teenager.
No.
Because we, of course, knew her prior to that from Return to Oz.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Love that movie. A creepy movie, by the way. But then, yes, The Craft. I didn't know any of the girls in the craft when I saw it, but it was her and
Hilary Swank.
Is she? No,
is it not? Oh, Neve Campbell.
Yes, Neve Campbell.
You know what I meant.
And there's a couple of the girls who I now kind of know from other things, but also Christine Taylor's in that movie. She's the girl that they put the curse on, her hair falls out, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's so creepy, so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
hair
that. Hair
falls out, that girl's...
Now, did you watch the remake of it?
I did.
Because I know that one of the characters is a trans girl, right?
Yeah, and I really liked it. It is... I only watched it once. I should watch it again. It is really good. I remember really liking it. And I remember her being trans was like a non-issue. It just didn't even like...
Right.
It wasn't a thing anyone talked about. It was brought up a couple times, but like by her, and it wasn't because of anything. But yeah, it was good. I really did like it. It was less scary than the OG. Okay. There are movies too, like, you know, there are movies that I guess could technically be Halloween-y.
Okay.
Nightmare Before Christmas. Cause
of course.
But I usually watch it around Christmas. Also, Addams Family to me is very Halloween. I watched...
All right, but let's talk about the Addams Family for a minute.
Yeah.
Because I grew up, of course, watching the original series with John Astin and Carolyn Jones, who was phenomenal. And then the movie with your girl, Angelica Houston.
Dream, yeah.
And
Raul
Julia.
Thank you.
God rest his soul.
Yeah.
And then... of course, the new Wednesday. So, and I have liked most of the iterations of the Addams Family. The animated movies, they're fine. They were okay. Yeah. They were fine.
Yeah.
But really...
It's not the same.
No, it's not the same. And Angelica Houston, I was really like, Angelica Houston as Morticia, and then I saw it and I was like, oh, of course.
Yeah, I want you to know that a lot of people are like... oh, OG is better, right? The original is better with the TV show.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I understand. It's the one, it's like originated, right?
Yeah.
But like Angelica Houston, don't tell me that she is not who you think of when you think of Morticia Addams, because that to me, watching that as a kid, I was like, and that's who I need to grow up to be. I'm going to start as like, what's her name? I find you... Nancy from... I'm going to start out as Nancy from The Craft. I'm going to turn into Morticia Addams. That was like goals in my life. And not like, oh my God, I love it. Like, oh no, this is what's going to have to happen. And so I made it. But that's what I think of when I think of the Addams Family, is that family. Christina Ricci as Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so good. It is so good. I love it. Also, like, Edward Scissorhands to me is a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Right? It's a Christmas movie. People are like, why? Because
that movie, though, makes me so sad.
Me too.
It's such a good movie, but yeah, it's just, ultimately, it's a very sad movie.
True. Yeah. Practical Magic?
Okay, Practical Magic, I have watched... 457 times,
roughly.
Probably.
Yeah.
You know, because I watch it at least once a year.
Yeah, it's so
and
good.
Sometimes more.
It's so good.
And since I'm 400 years old, that's a lot.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it is so good, and of course it ends at Halloween.
Uh-huh.
When they, fly off the roof.
Yep.
But, yeah, I love the whole idea of how they were witches.
Mm-hmm.
And that it wasn't what anybody thought of a witch. I was like, oh, perfect.
Yeah, it's so good. It is, and I love Sandra Bullock so much.
Love Sandra Bullock. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And her aunts.
Oh.
Diane Wiest.
Yes.
And Stockard Channing.
Uh-huh. I love
Stockard
Fabulous.
Channing. Yep. And what's her name? Oh, God.
Nicole Kidman?
No. Well, yeah, she was in it too, but the one that played the daughter who then...
Oh, I have no idea.
You do, because she went on to then be with Marilyn Manson.
Oh,
Three names.
Evan Rachel Wood.
Yeah, Evan Rachel Wood. Because she's a little girl in that.
She is. She's one of her daughters. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that movie.
That is one of my feel-good movies, and it makes me cry every fucking time.
Agreed. But I love Halloween movies and scary movies for sure. If we were just talking about scary movies, for sure. But I love, kind of more than anything, Halloween episodes of my favorite shows.
Oh, yeah.
Halloween episodes of Roseanne, love it. Halloween episodes of Modern Family.
But wouldn't you say that Roseanne really, really started that? They're really making it Halloween.
Yes.
The big episode. Because I think prior to that, sitcoms, Christmas was the big special.
Yep.
Maybe Thanksgiving.
Sure.
But then Christmas was the big one.
Yeah.
That they would make the special episode. And it was Roseanne.
Yeah.
Who is like, Halloween was a big deal.
Yeah.
For their family, and they did all their pranks and their things and the amazing pumpkins and all the things. It was like...
And everyone dressed up.
Yeah.
It was so good.
And they did like haunted houses in their house. And
you know, I need to say something. I do not stan Roseanne Barr. I do not like Roseanne Barr. I grew up loving Roseanne Barr. Thinking Roseanne Barr was like my mom. You know what I mean? That show was my life, I feel, watching it. Yeah. And so it's very nostalgic for me, but I can't stand Roseanne Barr now. But that show and their Halloween episodes, it's so good. But Halloween episodes of my favorite shows, I will watch them. Yeah. I'll just watch those. I don't care. That's why I love during the holidays when Hulu and Netflix have like, watch this playlist of just episodes.
Just, right, the Halloween episodes. And I do love that in Modern Family, that Claire was all about Halloween and being scary and doing the haunted house and doing all the things. And yeah, they were always also really good.
Yeah, I know. But what else? What other Halloween episodes? I don't know.
Those are kind of the ones that really come to me.
Yeah. Like Halloween specials, I guess. You know, there's like the Charlie Brown one, but I want you to know you're a great pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
I've never, and I'll take this to the grave. No, I won't. I'll tell it to everyone. I don't really give a shit about peanuts, and I never have. I never cared about Charlie Brown. I never cared about any of it, and a lot of people do, and I super get it. I don't. But I never really cared. So, you know, like the Christmas special, all that, when people are like, let's watch that, I'm always like, can we watch like...
For me, it's more just nostalgia. Because I watched as a little kid.
Makes sense, yeah.
And, you know, whatever. But watching it now, I think, what a bunch of sad people and mean people.
Yeah, girl.
Because, I mean, Lucy's awful.
Awful.
But, yeah, I don't watch them now and think, oh, yeah, ooh, nostalgia. No. Now when my kids want to watch them, I'm like, meh, they're all right.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, your kids wanted to watch it with me last year, and I said, no thanks.
Because The Great Pumpkin, it's cute. But again, Charlie Brown is abused through the entire thing, and it's like, yeah, that just is a little triggering for me.
Yeah. Here's
Little
the
in
one...
life is triggering.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's this picked on kid who knows
the one kid. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about...
Tell me.
I want to talk about the movie that you and I saw together in the theater I thought I was going to die.
Where we shit twice.
And
twice.
The Descent.
Yes. Oh.
So, I've never watched it a second time, and never will.
Yeah, I think I have.
Because it was probably, for me, one of the most terrifying movies. Yes. And if you haven't seen The Descent, it's about this group of women.
Well, go watch it and then come back, because spoilers.
Yeah, I'm not going to give you any spoilers, but it's about a group of women who go...
And some men, I think.
Spelunking.
Yeah, friends.
You know?
Yeah.
And they're going to go to this cave and do some... Whatever you do in a cave, I guess.
Check it out.
You know, they're going to go explore this cave.
They're going to go look at
And once they get in the cave, one of their people's like, oh... Guess what? This isn't the cave that's mapped. This is an unmapped cave.
Oh, no.
So nobody's explored it ever. And then the horror.
Yeah.
But for me, more than the monster, more than anything else, it was the claustrophobia of crawling through tunnels in the rock that were barely bigger than their bodies.
No.
And not knowing what's on the other side.
Yeah. How are you going to get out? Let me know. Yeah.
Well, you don't even know if you're going to get to a dead end and then be stuck. Or... if it's going to get narrower and narrower and you're going to be stuck. Or if you're going to come to, like, a nest of tarantulas. Who knows?
A nest of tarantulas in the cave. You don't know. Bats. Velociraptors.
Velociraptors. There could have been a nest of velociraptors.
Let me tell you what.
You don't know.
I hate it when face huggers are in the caves on Earth. But that movie, going into the Earth, it's dark. You have to fit through jagged, rocky tunnels and places. And then it's dark, and then people are dying, and you're, like, stuck? And then there are monsters. No, that movie fucked me up.
Yeah.
And we were at Oak Grove Theater, shitting our pants and crying, swearing at the screen.
I just remember me screaming out, Jesus Christ! And, you're like, you know we're not alone.
Yeah, there are others. And I guess this isn't a Halloween movie, but I just recently watched all of them. Paranormal Activity.
Yeah.
Those movies.
Yeah, the first one for me, phenomenal. But it was one of those movies that's like, We watch the beginning. I'm like, is anything ever going to happen? And then once it starts, it's subtle.
Yeah.
Oh, just wait, that thing just moved. Yeah. And then it's like, then it gets, I thought, terrifying.
Oh, horrifying. Yeah. Well, and I want you to know that I think all of them are like that. And because they don't get cheesy. They don't show you a monster.
Right.
You know what I mean? People just get, like, drug out of their bed and shit. And it's really fucking... They make a storyline to it, though, and that's kind of where it throws me. Yeah. But, yeah, scary girl. Scary. But I love that home video kind of horror. It fucks me up a lot. Because I'm like, this is real. Did you know this is the news?
Right. This is a documentary?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, you know.
Yeah.
That's kind of our time for today.
I need to go take a nap.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds good.
I know, right?
But I just have one thing to say about Halloween. So probably next week, since it's still October, we'll be talking about more fall, Halloween, October-y kind of things. But if you have any suggestions about what you want us to talk about, let us know. Or if you want even us, leave a movie list or whatever, we can do that of like the scariest film. I want you in the next week, all of you, everybody listening, you too maybe, to check out the films I watched as a kid. Also, other than the classics, you know, the original Frankenstein, Dracula, Mummy, Werewolf, all those were Hammer films.
Okay, yeah.
Which were British horror films with actors who never heard of because they're all British.
Okay.
Although one of them, who was in a lot of them, Christopher Lee, went on to then do
Lord of the Rings, right?
He was in Lord of the Rings.
What were you thinking?
Yeah, that little movie that no one's ever heard of.
Yeah.
But then he hooked up with Tim Burton.
Oh.
And started doing Tim Burton films.
Right, that's right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, give him a watch. Look up Hammer films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hammer time.
Hammer time.
All right, let's go.
They do not star MC Hammer. I'm just going to say.
I can't watch them then.
So if you would like to send us an email, do so at itwouldseemasthough@gmail.com, and we will read your emails.
Live.
And we'll be back next Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm tired.
To talk to you again and tell you a bunch of bullshit that you don't care about.
To talk at you again.
To talk at you. That's what we do.
You're welcome. You don't get to say things.
Right. And until then...
Bye.
It would seem as though